Hare Krishna and welcome to all the devotees on the line. Thank you very much for your presence and association as we continue associating with Srimad Bhagavatam, continuing Canto 2, Chapter 1, verses 12 to 19, the first step in God realization. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Vada Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gourangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhe Vacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesa Sunyavadi Paschachari Satari Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Sarva Shastra Piyusha Sarva Vedeka Satfala Sarva Siddhantaratnadya Sarva Lokai Tritprada Sarva Bhagavata Prana Srimad Bhagavato Prabhu Palidwando Didaditya Shri Krishna Parivartita O Srimad Bhagavatam O nectar churned from the ocean of all Vedic scriptures, O most prominent transcendental fruit of all the Vedas, O you enriched with the jewels of all spiritual philosophical conclusions, O you who grant spiritual vision to all the people of the world, O light breath of the Vaishnava devotees, O Lord, you are the sun which has arisen to dispel the darkness of Kali Yuga. You actually are Krishna who has returned amongst us. Paramananda Pataya Prema Vashasharayate Sarvada Sarvasevyaya Shri Krishnaya Namastute O Srimad Bhagavatam. I offer respectful obeisance unto you. By reading you, one tains transcendental bliss. For your syllables rain pure love poured upon the reader. You always to be served by everyone for your incarnation of Lord Krishna. Madeka Bandhu Mad Sangim Mad Guru Mad Mahadana Man Nishtaraka Mad Bhagya Madananda Namastute O Srimad Bhagavatam, O my only friend, O my companion, O my teacher, O my great wealth, O my deliverer, O my good fortune, O my bliss, I offer respectful obeisance unto you. Sadhu Sadhu Tadahi Natini Chachataraka Hanamun Chakadan Kada Chinmam Premna Ritkatiyospura O Srimad Bhagavatam, give us saintly Nastana saints. Who uplift the very fallen. Please do not ever leave me. Please become manifest. Mahatma Thoda, accompany pure love of Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Janmadyasya Yotanvayadi Taratas Charte Swabhigna Swarat Tene Brahma Hidayadi Kavaye Muyanti Yatsuraya Tejo Vari Mridam Yatha Vinimayo Yatra Sargo Mrisha Damna Svena Sada Nirastakvakam Satyam Param Dhimai. O my Lord Shri Krishna, Son of Vasudeva, O pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisance unto him. I meditate upon Lord Shri Krishna because he is the absolute truth and the primary cause of all causes of creation, sustenance, destructions of the manifest universes. He is directly and indirectly conscious of all manifestations, and he is independent because there is no other cause beyond him. It is he only who first imparted the Vedic knowledge unto the heart of Brahmaji, the original living being. By him, even the great sages and demigods are placed into illusion, as one is bewildered by illusory representation of water seen in fire, land seen on water. Only because of him do the material universes temporarily manifest. By the reaction of the three modes of nature appear factual, although they aren't real. I therefore meditate upon him, Lord Shri Krishna, who is eternally existent in transcendental abode, which is forever free from the illusory representation of the material world. I meditate upon him, for he is absolute truth. Prayana Payusha Sabya Kalavasmin Yuge Jana Manda Sumanda Matayo Manda Bhagyo Padrita, all in one. In this iron age of Kali, men are but short lives. They're quarrelsome, lazy, misguided, unlucky, and above all, always disturbed. Narayan Namaskritya Narachevam Narothamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayat. Before reciting Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisance unto the person of the Godhead Narayan, unto Nara Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Savaipum Saparodharmo Yato Bhaktira Dokshaja Hoituka Pratyata Yatna Suprasiddhati. The supreme occupation dharma for all humanity is that by which men can attain to loving devotional service under transcendental Lord. Such devotional service must be unmotivated and uninterrupted to completely satisfy the self. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojita Janayachu Savairagyam Kyanam Chayat Ahaitukam. By rendering devotional service under the personality of God, Shri Krishna, one immediately acquires causes, knowledge, and detachment from the world. Vedanti tattva vedas tattvam yat gnanam atvayam brahmeti paramatmeti bhagavaniti sabhyate. Learned transcendentalists who know the absolute truth called as non-dual substance Brahman, Paramatma or Bhagavan. Shrushrushoshadanasya Vasudeva Katarachi Syan Mahatsevaya Vipra Punya Tirdanch Nishevanat. O twice born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all vice, great service is done. By such service, one gains affinity for hearing the messages of Vasudeva. Shranvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Reddantostoya Badrani Vidunoti Suritsatam. Shri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is Paramatma, supersoul in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotees, develop the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtues when properly heard and chanted. Nastaprayashu Badreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. By regular attendance in the classes on the Bhagavatam and by rendering of service to the pure devotees, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed. And loving service under the personality of Godhead, who is praise or transcendental songs, is established as an irrevocable fact. Etavan Sankhya Yogabhyam Swadharmam Parinishtaya Janma Labha Parapumsam Ante Narayana Smriti. The highest perfection of human life, achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, by practice of mystic powers, or by perfect discharge of occupational duty, is to remember the personality of Godhead at the end of life. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. We are continuing Srimad Bhagavatam based on the teachings of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder Acharya of the International Society Krishna Consciousness. Hare Krishna, welcome again. Let us cover any feedback anyone has from Canto 2, Chapter 1, verses 1 to 11. Anything that caught your attention last week, you attended or read the sections or went through the video recap, share anything that comes to your mind for us to recap. And while you are busy typing, I will cover one excerpt from Srila Prabhupada's power statement. Therefore, one should first of all hear about the Lord. When one has perfectly and scrutinizingly heard, one must glorify his acts and deeds, and thus it will become possible to remember constantly the transcendental nature of the Lord. Hearing about and glorifying the Lord are identical with the transcendental nature of the Lord, and by so doing, one will be always in the association of the Lord. This brings freedom from all sorts of fear. So hearing, remembering, recollecting, any one of the processes of devotional service that one engages in is very, very powerful. And when one constantly engages in these processes, one is actually associating directly with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why? Because Krishna and Krishna's activities, Krishna's qualities, Krishna's pastimes, Krishna's form, everything related to Krishna, Krishna's words, Krishna's devotees, anything connected to Krishna is on the absolute platform. So even though the medium of exchange, the activity seems different, but because it's connected to Krishna, it is absolute. That means that hearing about Krishna is actually directly associated with Krishna. And if we have faith in engaging in such processes, as we perfect the process of constant hearing and chanting, then one day that realization of actually experiencing the presence of the Lord dawn upon us. At least theoretically, with faith, we should have this belief, this trust that yes, Krishna and anything related to Krishna is non-different. It's like Srila Prabhupada would say the pictures, they are windows to the spiritual world. Now, if you have if we take a mundane example, we all have windows at home. So if you look through the window, when you see through the window, you have firm faith, belief, trust that what you're seeing out there is real. Like if you look through your kitchen window, and let's say you see a garden or you see a car or whatever is on through the window on the opposite side. Let's say like if I open my window, kitchen window, if I see through the kitchen, I see my car. So when I see the vehicle, when I see the car, I have firm faith that the car exists. The car is there. I don't start scratching my head. No, is that real? Does that really exist? Is that really my car? No, I have firm faith. That's my car. And I will know that that's genuinely my car when one day I open the window curtain, look through the window, let's say in the morning, in the evening I park my car, in the morning I wake up, I open the curtain, I see through the window, and I don't see my car. When I react, oh no, someone stole the car, and I start reacting, I know that yes, I was always believing that my car is there, that's the car. So similarly, when we see through the pictures, the paintings, we are seeing Krishna through those paintings, as Prabhupada says, windows to the spiritual world. So they allow us to go from this world to the spiritual world simply by the medium of a painting. And we should have firm faith that what we're seeing on the opposite side through the window, through the picture, is actually the Supreme Personality of God. It's real. And with that faith, by practicing, we will progress. Tema Bhattiradika says, how can we even be dear to Krishna? Because Prabhupada is dear to Krishna. Like Maharaj Parikshit was dear to Krishna. Because the Pandavas were dear to Krishna. Yes. And we find that many of Srila Prabhupada's followers, disciples, had this firm conviction. I don't know Krishna. Krishna is very far. But because they had close association and proximity of Srila Prabhupada's presence, they have firm faith and conviction of their attachment to Prabhupada. So they knew Prabhupada. They were attached to Prabhupada. That attachment to Prabhupada was their visa, their passport, the visa, the ticket, and their flight to Goloka Vrindavan. And Prabhupada will then introduce them to Krishna. So Prabhupada is telling us about Krishna, but really our attachment in a practical sense is more to Srila Prabhupada than to Krishna. So yes, if we're dear to Prabhupada, no doubt we are dear to Krishna. And that revelation, that relationship will unfold over time. Shamananda Prabhu says, Hare Krishna Prabhu, nice point in verse 7, about how the topmost devotee wants to always hear about and glorify the Lord. We can use this as a test to see how eager we are to always hear about Krishna and not. We have a long way to go. Yes. We all have a long way to go. You're not alone. And that's why these sessions are simply there to create the environment to hear. Now, we could hear, via YouTube audios. There's so much to hear. Prabhupada's audios. So this one has Ram Govinda Maharaj was telling me the new audio book or audio machine came out, so it's got now 4,000 audio lectures. The one that I have got around 2,000. Or I think, no, the one I got is 4,000, and he said there were another 4,000 that came out. So there's ample to hear about. And it's about the taste and the attachment to hear about Krishna. Now consider, if we extend this point that Shamananda Prabhu was mentioning, why would someone become attached to hearing about Krishna? What's in it for them? What's making them become attached to hearing? When you love someone, what do you want to do? You want to be with them and chat, talk. It's amazing how, in this world, people can come together who are infatuated with each other, and they can talk and talk and talk and even talk nonsense about all different subjects and topics and about themselves, and life goes on. So if that happens just with infatuation in this material world, then what are those who are in love with Krishna? They want to hear more and more about Krishna. So we can measure our love in relation to Krishna to the degree that we are attached. We have the propensity to hear more and more about Krishna. So it's a good barometer. I love to do service because love means service. But I also love to hear about Krishna. I love to chant about Krishna. I love to introduce people to Krishna. So all these aspects, we all love to eat Krishna Prasad. That's a given. So all these aspects are all related to because I love Krishna. And because I love Krishna, this is what happens. In Vrindavan, everyone looks at this beautiful baby. They're not interested whether he's God or not. Just love him. They just love Krishna. So we are trying to cultivate, revive, resuscitate, renovate. Prabhupada uses these words. Our love again. And what's the process? The process to hear Shravana more and more. And that love will increase. I can also measure my advancement, my progress, that I may hear, say for example, I hear about the Damodar Leela. Now, I am sure we all have heard this Leela every single year, many, many, many years. But when we hear it again, it's not like I heard it, therefore it's okay. No. If I hear it and I have even more appreciation, it excites me even more. Eventually my hair stands on end. Tears flow from my eyes just by hearing it. I faint in ecstasy just by hearing Damodar, and I faint in ecstasy. That means progress. That means progress. So, one step at a time. It's not an overnight journey. Can be, but generally not. So at least we are engaging in the activity of constant hearing and chanting. That will take us far on this journey. So it doesn't matter if you have a long way to go, Shamanam, because we all have a long way to go. The beauty is we enjoy the journey. And if the journey is wonderful, I don't care how long it takes. I can share one in this regard. We were traveling with, was it? One of Prabhupada's disciples. We took him from Joburg to Durban, driving. And while driving, he was sharing pastimes of Srila Prabhupada. And speaking from the time we left Joburg till we reached Durban, 6 to 8 hours. And we never felt the journey because we were just hearing nectar. So even if it had to be 20 hours, let's say to Cape Town, no problem. Because we're hearing and we're enjoying the journey. So if I'm enjoying the journey of Krishna consciousness, the length is immaterial. I don't care. In fact, it's irrelevant because I'm hearing about Krishna, I'm associating wonderfully. So wonderful association, wonderful prasad. Krishna is very merciful in so many ways, and therefore I'm blissfully engaged and carrying on. Serving. Nalini Kanta says, Parikshit Maharaj asked such a relevant question to Sukadeva Goswami, and this is essential for everyone. Yes. And Sukadeva Goswami appreciated this question because it is a very pertinent question. Every one of us are dying. And our date is already set. You don't know the date, Krishna knows. It may be a surprise to you when the date comes, when the day arrives. It may be like a shock. All of a sudden, wow, it's my time. So no matter when that date comes, we pray to Krishna. Doesn't matter when the day is. But my Lord, I pray that when the day does come, give me the strength, the intelligence, and the ability to follow the instructions that Sukadeva Goswami is giving. And that instruction that Sukadeva Goswami is giving, which we're going to be just recapping and then continuing in the second canto. In the first canto, it was given again and again, and again, just emphatically, it's given again to remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's all we want. We just want that window of opportunity to pass the final exam, remembering Krishna. So we're going to cover verses 12 to 14 and then continuing from 15 also onwards. So we're going to go from the first section, 12 to 14, and then in the second section, we'll cover 16, 17, 18, and 19. So in these verses that we're covering, Sukadeva Goswami has mentioned that the essence is to remember Krishna. Doesn't matter who you are, doesn't matter what your occupation is, doesn't matter your background, doesn't matter what path you follow. The goal is to remember the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, there were many amidst that assembly of sages, of transcendentalists, all the souls that were there sitting with Maharaj Parikshit. Within that assembly were many transcendentalists who were practicing Astanga Yoga. That's why when Maharaj Parikshit, before Sukadeva Goswami arrived, when Maharaj Parikshit asked the sages that all was seated there, please tell me what should I do? What's best for me? They couldn't come to a conclusion. Why? Because, the Astanga Yogi said, practice Astanga Yoga. And the impersonal said, no, practice impersonal meditation. And the devotee said, no, chant Hare Krishna. They were all different opinions. Sukadeva Goswami, understanding his crowd, he's not only directing Maharaj Parikshit, but he's also directing everyone that is there. He's also directing every living entity that's going to come in contact with the Bhagavatam. So we are going to hear the philosophy of Krishna consciousness that is applicable to every living entity who is interested in some form or shape of spiritual practice. So in this section, Sukadeva Goswami is covering specifically, he's addressing specifically those who are interested in Astanga Yoga in the audience. We see Krishna doing the same thing in Bhagavad Gita. In the 6th chapter, Lord Krishna talks about the Astanga Yoga. Why? Because, in Bhagavad Gita, Astanga Yoga is also mentioned. Oh, really? Let me go read. So then they read first chapter, 2nd chapter, 3rd chapter, they read 6th chapter. Yeah, Astanga Yoga is there. Then Krishna says, of all the yogis, that yogi thinks of me, contemplates on me, that is the best of all yogis. Krishna links them to Bhakti Yoga and then takes them higher. So Sukadeva Goswami is now presenting 16, 17, 18, 19. He's talking about Asta Yoga, 8th path, 8-fold yoga system. Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. And people may have different understandings of this. Even from Patanjali Yoga, people have different aspects of these 8 limbs. Sukadeva Goswami is going to really give the nutshell, the most important aspects of these yogas. So text 11. We covered in the last verse, this was the most important instruction that Sukadeva Goswami gave Maharaj Parikshit in conclusion to his question. Etan nirvidyamananam ichchatam akutobayam yoginam naripa nirnitam harernamanu kirtanam. O King, constant chanting of the holy names of the Lord after the ways of the great authorities is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all, including those who are free from all material desires, those who are desirous of all material enjoyment, and also those who are self-satisfied by dint of transcendental knowledge. So, it doesn't matter who you are, whether you have so many material desires, you're a materialist, you're free from all material desires, you're self-satisfied by transcendental knowledge. It doesn't matter on what level of rank of yoga ladder you are. It doesn't matter. Harer namanu kirtanam. Constant chanting of the holy names of Krishna. And chanting includes hearing, reading, constant association with Krishna. This is the objective. Now, Sukadeva Goswami, Maharaj Parikshit have received his instruction that this is what you need to do. And his question now, his curiosity is that, okay, so this is the topmost process. This is what I should be doing. But I only have 7 days to live. How am I going to perfect this process of chanting Hare Krishna, of chanting the Lord's names constantly in 7 days. Is that practical? That was his question. So Sukadev Goswami says, text 12, Kim pramatsya bahudpi parokshair hayanel iham varam muhurtam viditam gatate shreyashe yata. What is the value of a prolonged life which is wasted, inexperienced by years in this world? Better a moment of full consciousness, because that gives one a start in searching after his supreme interest. So Maharaj Parikshit was concerned. I only got 7 days. And Sukadeva Goswami's response is, what's the use even of 700 years? If we do not use those years consciously, with full consciousness, then 7 million years makes no difference. But if even I use one moment with full consciousness, then that is beneficial. That is beneficial. Srila Sukadeva Goswami instructed Maharaj Parikshit about the importance of the chanting of the holy name of the Lord by every progressive gentleman. It's interesting, Prabhupada's use of adjective. Srila Sukadeva Goswami instructed Maharaj Parikshit about the importance of chanting the holy name of the Lord by every progressive gentleman. Who wants to progress? Well, then you're going to take this seriously. So we need to become convinced, yes, that this is the process. And to convince others, we need to be able to highlight to them the benefit of chanting. If a youngster is not chanting, then we need to try to see what, naturally he's not chanting because he doesn't see the value in it. And if he does see a value in chanting, then, and is not chanting, then it may be that there's excuses which are stopping him from chanting. So then it's about addressing those excuses. Like, yeah, I know it's important, but no problem. You can do that today, and you can do that tomorrow, and you can do the next day, and another but next day, and another but next day. But when death comes, then you can't say, but wait. No buts. Death is going to kick you out. You're going to get booted. No buts, no ifs, no wait, no sorry, no nothing. You're going to get booted. So, do we want that experience? If we don't want that experience, then we need to readjust. Then we need to change our priority. And yes, we all have so many important activities to do in this world. Everything is important. But out of all the important activities, I may not be able to do everything because I only got 24 hours in a day. And half my time is sleeping. Quarter of my time is eating. So I only got a quarter of my time to use that time in those important activities, and therefore I have to prioritize those activities and then take the top 3 and engage in those top 3. And the rest, well, sorry, I'm limited. I only have so much time. I can't do everything. Only Krishna can expand time and do everything. So we need to adjust. But if we're interested in progressing, then this is important. In order to encourage the king, who had only 7 remaining days of life, Srila Sukadeva Goswami asserted that there is no use in living hundreds of years without any knowledge of the problem of life. Better to live for a moment with full consciousness of the supreme interest to be fulfilled. So this is very, very important. Firstly, we see from the action of Sukadeva Goswami, he is encouraging Maharaj Parikshit. So we should learn to always encourage, not discourage. One time, Srila Prabhupada was walking in Mayapur with all the managers, leaders from around the world. And one by one, the temple presidents were complaining, yeah, Prabhupada this, and this devotee this, and then they were going, and practically everyone was giving their issues and problems, and at one point, Prabhupada stopped. And with his cane, he went from one end to the other with his cane, like a semicircle. And Prabhupada says, you have all come to discourage. And I have come to simply encourage. You have all come to discourage. And I have simply come to encourage. You have all come to discourage. And I have simply come to encourage. And Prabhupada can continue walking. And all the leaders, yes, Prabhupada, we're very sorry. Yes, everything is, this was doing nicely. And yes, and the whole mood changed. So Prabhupada, following the footsteps of Sukadeva Goswami, is encouraging, is motivating, it's giving us hope. So we should learn that. Whenever we come in contact with anyone, we should be encouraging, not demotivating. Because you can preach in different, or you can share Krishna in different ways. So we want to encourage people, following the footsteps of Sukadeva Goswami. And just a moment of contemplating about the problems of life. Now it's true, some people, they're in such an insulated bubble that they may not be experiencing the pinpricks of life right now. If you go to Iraq right now, where there's war in Gaza and it's happening, and if you ask the souls there, how's life? It's a life of tears. It's a life of sadness. It's a life of unfortunate events. Unwanted events. So that's life. That's the reality. And it's not just there, it's all over, different places. Right now, there's about 32 different wars that are going on across the planet. Tribal war, different wars, different types, different levels. This is the nature. And we are on this planet also experiencing the karmic reaction of this planet. But by Krishna consciousness, we become insulated. So we want to focus on the problem, even if it's for a few minutes, because that focus on the problem, on the real problem of life, that is extremely beneficial because we are using time in the most valuable way. The supreme interest of life is to return home back to Godhead, where life is eternal, with full knowledge and bliss. Those who are bewildered by the external features of material world and are engaged in the animal propensities of eat, drink, and be merry type of life are simply wasting their lives by the unseen passing away, of valuable years. We should know in perfect consciousness that human life is bestowed upon the conditioned soul to achieve spiritual success. And the easiest possible procedure to attain this end is to chant the holy name of the Lord. So human life is bestowed. It's a benediction. It is very rare to get the human form of life. So this human form of life, which is rare, which is a benediction, is bestowed upon us, is meant to be used to perfect our spiritual existence. And the foundation of that practice is chanting the holy names of the Lord. In the previous verse, we have discussed this point to a certain extent, and we may further be enlightened on the different types of offenses committed unto the feet of the holy. Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhu has quoted many passages from authentic scriptures and has ably supported the statement in the matter of offenses at the feet of the holy name. From the Vishnu Yamala Tantra, Jiva Goswami has proven that one can be liberated from the effects of all sins simply by chanting the holy names of the Lord. Quoting from Makarandaya Purana, Sri Goswami Ji says that one should neither blaspheme the devotees of the Lord nor indulge in hearing others who are engaged in belittling a devotee of the Lord. A devotee should try to restrict the vilifier by cutting out his tongue. And if one is unable to do so, one should commit suicide rather than hear the blasphemy of a devotee of the Lord. The conclusion is that one should neither hear nor allow vilification of a devotee of the Lord. As for distinguishing the Lord's holy name from the names of the demigods, the revealed scriptures disclose 1041 that all external powerful beings are but parts and parcels of the supreme energetic Lord Krishna. Srijit Mahaprabhu also makes this point emphatically. Chanting of the holy name of the Lord is the best process for perfection. But we need to avoid sense gratification and avoid offenses, especially offenses to devotees. If we can do that and then continue chanting the holy names, then one can be liberated from effects of all sins simply by chanting the holy names of the Lord. So we hear many of these statements that just by chanting Hare Krishna, all sins can be destroyed. The question is, well, I'm chanting Hare Krishna, and it seems like, gee, I'm still same place. What's the problem? The problem is faith. There's different problems. 5 different aspects that can inhibit the result. One of them is faith. I do not have faith in these instructions. I do not trust the validity, the truth in these instructions. And how do I get that faith? By those that have faith. Associate with those that have faith to increase that faith, that this is true. This is true. Then I may be engaged in sinful activities and then trying to chant Hare Krishna. So that also will not give me the benefit of chanting Hare Krishna. I may be engaged in chanting the holy name in a very critical way. Yeah, I have to chant Hare Krishna. I don't know why. I shouldn't have got initiated in the first place. Now I must chant. It's like such a motivation. It's like, boy, this is This is too heavy. It's a big, yes, it's like heavy. It's a big burden. You're not going to make advancement. You're not chanting in a heart that is filled with gratitude, that's happy, that's excited, that's thankful. So we need to try to avoid these types of obstacles. And here, Prabhupada is making the point that we should avoid blasphemy. Even if we try to hear, that's dangerous. I may not be doing it, but I may be hearing it. That's dangerous. And here Prabhupada is saying, if somebody hears blasphemy, then they either cut the person's tongue or they commit suicide, because that's the consequence of hearing blasphemy. So it's emphasizing the danger. Another place Prabhupada says, if you can't cut the person's tongue, which we won't suggest, and you cannot commit suicide, which we also don't suggest, because Shichi Mahaprabhu says we should not commit suicide, then the best option is leave that environment. Leave that environment. Generally, when one hears blasphemy, it's described, one should try to counteract that blasphemy with scripture and glorify the devotee. But if one can't do these things, then best not to be in that environment. And you have full freedom and choice to select your association, to select your environment. We are here to select the environment that encourages, that empowers, that allows us to please Hari Guru and the Vaishnavas. And any environment that falls in this category, then for our own sanity and security, best to avoid. They may be very expert to do this, and that's their prerogative. But as far as I'm concerned, it is detrimental for my spiritual life, and therefore let me focus on my relationship with the Holy Name. Except for the Lord himself, everyone is subordinate. No one is independent of the Lord. Since no one is more powerful than or equal to the energy of the Supreme Lord, no one's name can be as powerful as that of the Lord. So the demigods' names and Lord Krishna's names are not equal. Why? Because Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, he is most powerful, and therefore his name is most powerful. And that, again, we have to have the faith. We have to have the faith. We see people attached to demigods, worship of demigods, because they do not understand and fully accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead. By chanting the holy name, Lord's holy name, one can derive all the stipulated energies synchronized from all sources. What an amazing statement. By chanting the Lord's holy name, one can derive all the stipulated energy synchronized from all sources. What does that mean? That means that by you chanting Hare Krishna, you are deriving the benefit from every modality, from every puja, from every sacrifice, from every ritual, from every form, shape, or source that exists in creation for eternity, simply by chanting the holy names of Krishna. Whether it's material or spiritual, you're deriving every benefit by chanting the holy name of Krishna. We do not need anything. It's like going to one shop, and this is all-inclusive shop. If I go into the supermarket, I can find everything. I can find hardware, I can find software, I can find food, I can find everything. I just go to one place. So the holy name is one-stop shop. And I can get all the energies I need. I do not need to go from this shop to this shop to that shop, that shop, that shop. No, I don't need to do shopping at different shops. Waste energy, waste fuel, waste time. One-stop shop. And I can get the benefit of chanting the holy names, the benefits that I can get from chanting the holy names, some of the benefits I cannot get from any shop, from any process, from any modality. Example, there is no process in creation that can uproot the desires to sin besides chanting the holy names and the process of devotional service. So I can worship the demigods till I go blue. And I can please the demigods for them to give me so many blessings. We see that again and again. All the great demons that have pleased Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and have asked for blessings, when they come to the request to say, please give me liberation, I want to be immortal. Sorry, can't give you that. Why? Because if you want immortality, then it means no material desires. We cannot give you the blessings of no material desires. The holy name can give you the blessings of no material desires. Why? Because the root of those desires can be destroyed by the holy name. And when the root is destroyed, then material desires are destroyed. So the holy name can bestow pure love of Krishna, which no other process out there can bestow. So you can get everything from every other process, but you can get more, which every other process cannot give you. This is the gift that Srila Prabhupada has bestowed upon us all. Therefore, Prabhupada continues, one should not equate the supreme holy name of the Lord with any other name. Brahma, Shiva, or any other powerful God can never be equal to the supreme Lord Vishnu. The powerful holy name of the Lord can certainly deliver one from sinful effects, but one who desires to utilize this transcendental potency of the holy name of the Lord in one's sinister activities is the most degraded person in the world. So you cannot commit sinful activities in the strength of chanting the holy names of the Lord. You will not be, you can't cheat the holy name. You can't cheat Krishna. One should therefore utilize one's life in glorifying the Lord by all means without any offense. Such activity of life, even for a moment, is never to be compared to a prolonged life of ignorance, like the lives of trees and other living entities who may live for thousands of years without prosecuting spiritual advancement. So even a moment spent in chanting the holy name without offenses, attentively, with gratitude, is far more valuable than living millions and millions and millions of years without that activity. 13. So Sukadev Goswami is now giving an example. Katvango nama rajair gnatve yatam ihayusham muhurtat sarvam utshrijyam gatavan abhayam harim. The saintly king Katvanga, after being informed that the duration of his life would be only a moment more, at once freed himself from all material activities and took shelter of the supreme safety, the personality of Godhead. A fully responsible man should always be conscious of the prime duty of the present human form of life. So again, look at Prabhupada's adjective. The previous purport Prabhupada used progressive gentleman. In this purport, Prabhupada is using responsible men. So those who are progressive, those who are responsible, our focus is how to perfect our lives, how to take full advantage of this human form of life. Because if you want eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, well, there's plenty other species that do it far more better than human beings. Why waste this human form of life? We give you that of animals. So material nature will not, give you this valuable form if you want to engage in those activities. The activities to meet the immediate necessities of life are not everything. The activities to meet the immediate necessities of life are not everything. One should always be alert in his duty for attainment of better situation in the next life. See, I may not be able to resolve or solve my situation now. I'm in a mess. If I'm in a mess, I'm already in a mess. I can't do anything about it right now. And how come I'm in this mess? Is because of my past activities, I'm in this mess. So I can't really immediately impact my mess. Okay? But an intelligent person will think, okay, I'm in this mess. Not that I shouldn't try to get out by practical means, but if I do not want to be in this mess again, then let me act in such a way that in my future, I will never, ever be in this situation again. And that is what Prabhupada is encouraging. One should always be alert in his duty for attainment of a better situation in next life. Act now for your future, because your present is very difficult to change because it's destined to come. Yes, I can practice Krishna consciousness and shield my consciousness so that whatever is to come, I can get the strength from the Lord through devotional service to overcome those challenges. But they will come because I've sowed the seeds. And I sowed the seeds because of ignorance. Now, Prabhupada is our captain. He's expertly guiding us. So now I'm a little more shrewd, I'm a little more clever, I'm a little more intelligent by Prabhupada's intelligence. I know how to maneuver in this game of life. I know what I should do now to be more successful, to be in a better situation, to perfect my life. You'll see most motivational speakers, coaches, you name it, psychologists, whatever they are, to help people, they do not focus, they don't mention these things. Why? Because they have no clue about the future. They have no clue about, karma. They have no clue about the goal of life. So Prabhupada is guiding us very, very wonderfully. Human life is meant for preparing ourselves for that prime duty. Mahaj Katvanga is mentioned herein as a saintly king because even within the responsibility of state management, he was not at all forgetful of the prime duty of life. So he was a king, but he never forgot his prime duty. We may be engaged in many activities in this world. Let us not forget our eternal relationship with Krishna and what we need to do. We need to be completely, firmly convinced. What am I here to do? What is my purpose? Without doubt, such was the case of other rishis, Raj rishis, saintly kings like Mahaj Yudhishthir and Mahaj Parikshit. They were exemplary personalities on account of their being alert in discharging their prime duty. Maj Katvanga was invited by the demigods in the higher planets to fight the demons. And as a king, he fought the battles to the full satisfaction of the demigods. The demigods, being fully satisfied with him, wanted to give him some benediction for material enjoyment. Maj Katvanga, being very much alert to his prime duty, inquired from the demigods about his remaining duration of life. So he helped the demigods to fight the demons. They were successful. The demigods asked Maj Katvanga, what benediction do you want? He could have asked for so many things. Give me this, give me money, give me woman, give me heaven, pleasure, give me... No, he asked for so many things. But he asked, please tell me, how long do I have to live? He asked for the notice. He asked for the notice for death. So why did he ask for that? Because he understood the prime duty of human form of life. This means that he was not as anxious to accumulate some material benedictions from demigods as he was to prepare himself for the next life. So such an exemplary example. He could have asked for so many things for this current life. Give me this, give me that, give me so many things, so I'm very happily situated. But no, what was he thinking? Future. My situation, to make a better future. He was informed by the demigods, however, that his life would last only for a moment longer. The king at once left the heavenly kingdom, which is always full of material enjoyment of the highest standard, and coming down to this earth, took ultimate shelter of the all-safe personality of God. Beautiful adjective. All-safe personality of Godhead. Not the supreme personality of Godhead, the all-safe personality of Godhead. Where is that shelter where you are all safe? You are safe from every form of trouble, from every form of anxiety, from every form of tension, from every form of suffering, from every form of attack. Which is the safest place? It is the all-safe personality of Godhead. And Maj Katvanga took shelter of that personality. He was successful in his great attempt and achieved liberation. This attempt, even for a moment, by the saintly king was successful because he was always alert to his prime duty. So how come he was able to achieve that perfection? Because he was conscious of that perfection. He was conscious of the duty. Therefore, when the opportunity came for him to get a benediction, he asked, tell me how long I'm going to live so that I can perfect my life. Maj Parikshit was thus encouraged by the great Sukadeva Goswami. Even though he had only 7 days left in his life to execute a prime duty of hearing the glories of the Lord in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam, by the will of the Lord, Maj Parikshit instantly met the great Sukadeva Goswami, and the great treasure of spiritual success left by Sukadeva Goswami is nicely mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. So one muhurta, the demigod said you have one muhurta. One muhurta is 48 minutes. So immediately when Katvanga Maharaj heard, oh, I got 48 minutes, immediately he came to the earth planet, gave his kingdom to his family, to children, possibly his son to rule, gave up everything, and took shelter of the all-safe personality of God and perfected his life. So Sukadeva Goswami is telling Maj Parikshit, took Maj Katvanga 48 minutes or less. If he could do it in 48 minutes, Maj Parikshit, you got 7 days. You got sufficient time. You got sufficient time. And now consider how much time we got. We lived more than 7 days. We just had Bhagavatam last week. So that means we already covered more than 7 days, right? So that means we got no excuse. Katvanga Maj at 48 minutes. Well, one time, I'm sure you saw the audio, this beautiful audio of Srila Prabhupada video. The disciple asked Srila Prabhupada, it's like, how long does it take, to become Krishna consciousness? Like many lifetimes. Prabhupada said, why many lifetimes? One moment. One moment. Sarva dharman parityaja. One moment. Depends on you. Do you want to take many lifetimes? Then you can take many lifetimes. 48 minutes, 7 days, one moment. What do we really want? Now, it's true, I may intellectually say, yeah, I want to go back home. I want to serve Krishna. But the heart speaks louder than the head. That's why they say your head, your heart, and your hands, they all go in line. So first, you need to get some intelligence, some education. Now, once you got some education, then you need to really see what the heart is saying. That emotional sentiment, that attachment, from the heart needs to be convinced. So when the head and the heart is convinced, then the hand starts action. So yes, we are getting the intelligence, the direction. The heart is getting purified through the chanting, so that the heart will also start coming and align to the instructions. And then, our action will be smooth. So that process is there. And in order for us to continue, Sukadeva Goswami is encouraging Maharaj Parikshit, encouraging us that don't worry, we got sufficient time. And the secret of spiritual success, the great treasure of spiritual success, is in the form of Srimad Bhagavatam. So if we want success, especially spiritual success, the jewels, the treasure is Srimad Bhagavatam. Everything that we need is there. 14. Tavapyetarhi Kauravya Saptaham Jivita Vadi Upakalpaya Tat Sarvam Tavad Yat Samparayikam. Maharaj Parikshit. Now your duration of life is limited to 7 more days. So during this time, you can perform all those rituals which are needed for the best purpose of your next life. We should embody this principle that let me live my life so that my future is bright. Let me speak, let me think, let me act, let me do everything so that my future is bright. So that really means let me act in a Krishna conscious way now so that my future is taken care of. Therefore, again, the point that a devotee never fears the future. Why? Because if he's trying to live a Krishna conscious life now in as many aspects as possible, the future is going to be bright without fail. Even if there is a challenge that comes in future, because nobody says that there's not going to be any challenge if you come to the material world, but even within that challenge, Krishna, the all-safe personality of Godhead, will help us to safety. Sukadeva Goswami, after citing the example of Maharaj Katvanga, who prepared himself for the next life within a very short time, encouraged Maharaj Parikshit by saying that since he still had 7 days at his disposal, he could easily take advantage of the time to prepare himself for the next life. Indirectly, the Goswami told Maharaj Parikshit that he should take shelter of the sound representation of the Lord for the 7 days still remaining the duration of his life, and thus get himself liberated. Indirectly, Prabhupada is telling us, take shelter of the sound representation of the holy name in all your time that you have in this world. So that means chant Hare Krishna. If you got time, glorify Krishna. If you got time, hear Srimad Bhagavatam, the sound incarnation. If you got time, serve and chant the holy names of Krishna. So in this way, this is how we engage in our life. In other words, everyone can best prepare himself for the next life simply by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam as it was recited by Sukadeva Goswami to Maharaj Parikshit. So here is another reason why we associate with Srimad Bhagavatam. Prabhupada is telling us everyone can best prepare. See, you can do different things to prepare. Preparation can be of different gradations. Preparation can be of different types. Some effective, some not effective. But the best preparation that one can perform for one's next life, you're definitely getting the benefit now in the sense of purification, wonderful association. We can't give you prasadam in virtual reality. When we're having this sessions at the temple, at least at the temple, you could get some Mangal sweets. You can get 4 o'clock Mahaprasad, 7 o'clock Prasad. So hopefully in the future, as the scientists make more advancement, then we could get everyone that joins the session. You put your address in chat. We take your address. It goes into our courier service, Prasadam Courier, and our drones that have prasadam packed nicely in a nice container. The drones will take, and while we're doing the Krishna conscious katha, the drones will come and deliver the prasad to your place. But until then, we have to eat the prasad through the holy names, through our ears. So that's the best form of preparation for our next life, simply hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, as recited by Sukadeva Goswami to Maharaj Parikshit. The rituals are not formal, but there are also some favorable conditions which are required to be carried out and instructed hereafter. So now Sukadeva Goswami is going to reveal what are some of those instructions that we need to carry out to enhance the benefit, but especially in context to the audience that he wants to speak to. And he's going to use, throughout the Bhagavatam, Sukadeva Goswami used different audience to present the same point of perfecting our life. 15. Antakale tu purusha agate gata sad vasha chindyat asanga shastrena spruham dehe nuche nu ye chatam. At the last stage of one's life, one should be bold enough not to be afraid of death, but one must cut off all attachment to the material body and everything pertaining to it, and all desires thereof. So now, this is the reality, and we're going to see Prabhupada does not hold back his punches. Because what's the use Yeah, it's okay. You don't need to worry, whether you attach or not attach, when you're dying, it really doesn't matter, just it's life, what to do. Nope. At the last stage of one's life, one should be bold enough not to be afraid of death. But one must cut off all attachment to the material body and everything pertaining to it, and all desires. Why? Because you are not this body. And it is this body and your material desires and attachment to it that will bring you back. So Prabhupada in the purport says, the foolishness of gross materialism is that people think of making a permanent settlement in this world. Although it is a settled fact that one has to give up everything here that has been created by valuable human energy. So everyone, in every circumstance, when death comes, will have to give up all their wealth, all their family members, the environment, everything will have to be given up, including your body. So if that is the true fact, then we should not cultivate that attachment. We shouldn't be neglectful and irresponsible, but we should not encourage those attachments. We can dovetail those attachments in Krishna service and purify, but we want to become attached to that which is permanent. Krishna. Great statements, scientists, philosophers, etc., who are foolish without any information of the spiritual soul think that this life of a few years only is all in all and that there is nothing more after death. This poor fund of knowledge, even in the so-called learned circles of this world, is killing the vitality of human energy, and the awful result is being keenly felt. And yet the foolish materialist men do not care about what is going to happen in the next. The preliminary instructions in the Bhagavad Gita is that one should know that the identity of the individual living entity is not lost even after the end of this present body, which is nothing but an outward dress only. As one changes an old garment, so the individual living being also changes his body. And this change of body is called death. Death is therefore a process of changing the body at the end of the duration of the present life. An intelligent person must be prepared for this and must try to have the best type of body in the next life. So here's another adjective, an intelligent person. So we had progressive, we had responsible, and now intelligent person. And what should an intelligent person do? He must be prepared for this. Prepared for what? Prepared for death. What is death? Change of body. Are you prepared for changing this body? Just like Diwali. So Sunday, Monday, we're celebrating Diwali, or Deepavali. So we're celebrating Diwali, and most people that celebrate Diwali, it's for them, it's like new clothes. I remember when I was at home, every time Diwali came to us, like we would go shopping for new clothes. So the old clothes, we would throw away, no problem, give it out because we're getting new clothes. Happy. So this body is going to be taken away. It's old. When it gets old, when it's time out, it's going to be taken away. And I'm going to get a new body. Am I ready for that? Am I prepared for that? And we have to be bold to prepare for that. Yes. Why we should be bold to prepare for that? Because that means I'm intelligent. And Prabhupada is giving us the preparation, what to do, how to do it, what we're going to experience. So the mercy is there, the instruction is there, the examples are there. So when that time comes, fearlessly take shelter of the holy name, pray to the Lord, try to remember him, and leave everything else to him, because that is all we need to do, is remember him. And if we have been practiced to remember him, then death is then a very simple, easy transition to a better form of existence going forward. The best type of body is a spiritual body, which is obtained by those who go back to the kingdom of God or enter into the realm of Brahman. So we have a choice. Everyone is going to die. There is no question about that, whether you like it or not. Everyone is going to get a body, whether you like it or not. It could be an animal, aquatic, a bird, a beast, an insect, a reptile, a flower, or a human being. Everyone is going to get a body. Question is, which one do you want? Do you want a human body again, material body? Body of a cat, dog, a plant, a tree, a bird, a beast, a monkey, a cow? Or you want your original spiritual body? You have a choice. Everybody has a choice. We also have a choice at the time of death. So choose wisely. Someone who's intelligent, well, he's going to follow those who are intelligent, like Prabhupada, like Maharaj Parikshit, like Sukadeva Goswami. So why do I want another jacket? That's temporary. I want my original body. I want my original form. That means I want to go back to the spiritual and get my original form in the service of Krishna. And that is available. In the second chapter of this canto, this matter will be broadly discussed. All right, I'm waiting for that chapter. But as far as the change of body is concerned, one must prepare now for the next life. But as far as the change of body is concerned, one must prepare now for the next life. That means Prabhupada is making very clear, you're not preparing for your next life when death comes. That's too late. It's like saying, okay, I'm going to write the exam. Okay, but I'll study just before 5 minutes before the exam. No, it doesn't work like that. You cannot study 5 minutes before the exam. It's like I'm writing tomorrow and I'm getting early and I'm cramping everything in my head. You can't study like that. You need to prepare. So, preparation, when do we start preparing for death? Now. Right now it starts. And now is gone. Now is again now. And now is gone. Now is again now. Which means that at every moment from now till death, we should be prepared. And what is that preparation? To chant the holy name, to hear the glories of Krishna, to engage in devotional service, to avoid sense gratification, to avoid offenses to the holy name. In essence, try to be Krishna conscious. Foolish people attach more importance to the present temporary life, and thus the foolish leaders make appeals to the body and bodily relations. So when you understand the destination, your priority, your focus will change. The bodily relations extend not only to this body, but also to family members like wife and children, as well as to society, country, and so many other things which end at the end of life. So not only this body, but everything that's related to this body, family members, wife, children, society, country, everything else that extend is all temporary. Now you may be fighting against America. Then you take birth in America and fight against the country that in your past life you were born in. This is life. After death, one forgets everything about the present bodily relations. We have a little experience of this at night when we go to sleep. While sleeping, we forget everything about this body and bodily relations. Although this forgetfulness is a temporary situation for only a few hours, death is nothing but sleeping for a few months in order to develop another term of bodily engagement, which we are awarded by the laws of nature according to our aspiration. It's not whimsical. What is your aspiration? Thou shalt get. Prabhupada is encouraging us through the life of Sukadev Goswami, through the life of Maharaj Parikshit. What should we aspire for? Therefore, one has only to change the aspiration during the course of this present body. And for this, there is need of training in the current duration of life, human life. So, for you to change your aspiration, you need training. It's not a click of a button. No, it needs training. There's some energy that needs to be dissipated to change one aspiration. This training can be begun at any stage of life, or even a few seconds before death. But the usual procedure is for one to get training from very early life, from the stage of brahmacharya, and gradually progress to grihastha, vanaprastha, and sannyas orders of life. So if you get the training at the last moment, well, it's not going to be sufficient. So you're going to come back and continue the training. At least you started the training. So you've registered in the school, and at least you can continue. But that's not sufficient. We do not want to repeat. So Prabhupada says, try to finish the business. Okay, to finish the business, I need sufficient time. Well, then start early. So as early as possible, one can start, the better it will be for one to perfect one's life. The institution which gives such training is called Varanashram Dharma, or the system of Sanatan Dharma, the best procedure for making the human life perfect. One is therefore required to give up the attachment to family or social one is therefore required to give up the attachment to family or social or political life just at the age of 50 years, if not earlier. And the training in the Vanaprastha and Sannyas ashram is given for preparation of the next life. Foolish materialists in the garb of leaders of the people in general stick to family affairs without attempting to cut off relations with them. And thus they become victims of nature's law and get gross bodies again, according to their work. Such foolish leaders may have some respect for the people at the end of life, but that does not mean that such leaders will be immune to the natural laws by which everyone is tightly bound by hands and feet. The best thing is, therefore, that everyone voluntarily give up family relations by transferring the attachment from family, society, country, and everything thereof to the devotional service of the Lord. So every attachment we have, offer that to Krishna. Dovetail it in Krishna's service, in devotional service. In this way, you have purified those attachments. And that will be extremely beneficial for the transition of death, through death. So this is the best thing. It is stated herein that one should give up all desires of family attachment. One must have a chance for better desires. Otherwise, there is no chance of giving up such morbid desires. Desire is the concomitant factor of the living entity. The living entity is eternal, and therefore his desires, which are natural for a living being, are also eternal. One cannot therefore stop desiring, but the subject matter for desiring can be changed. So one must develop the desires for returning home back to Godhead. And automatically the desire for material gain, material honor, and material popularity will diminish in proportion to the development of devotional service. A living being is meant for service activities, and his desires are centered around such a service attitude. Beginning from the top executive head of the state down to the insignificant pauper in the street, all are rendering some sort of service to others. The perfection of such a service attitude is only attained simply by transferring the desire of service from matter to spirit, or from Satan to God. So, aspiration, direct to Krishna. Family attachments, direct to Krishna. Desires, direct them to Krishna. Direct every aspect that is required for you to perfect your life to Krishna. In this way, death will be a wonderful experience of a glorious passing. 16. Grihat pravrajito dhira punyatirtha jalaplutam sucho vivikta ashino vividha kalpa vividivat kalpitasane. One should leave home and practice self-control. In a sacred place, he should bathe regularly, sit down in a lonely place, duly sanctified. So now, Sukadeva Goswami is revealing the Astanga process to those who are Astanga yogis, what they should be doing now. So the first is talking about Yama, what we should do. Then Niyama, things that we should avoid. And then Asana. To prepare oneself for a better next life, one must go out of one's so-called home. The system of Varnashram Dharma or Sanatana Dharma prescribe retirement from family and encumbrances as early as possible after one has passed 50 years of age. Modern civilization is based on family comforts, the highest standard of amenities. And therefore, after retirement, everyone expects to live a very comfortable life in a well-furnished home decorated with fine ladies and children, without any desire to get out of such a comfortable home. High government officers and ministers stick to their prized posts until death, and they neither dream nor desire to get out of homely comforts. Bound by such hallucinations, materialistic men prepare various plans for a still more comfortable life. But suddenly cruel death comes without mercy, takes away the great plan maker against his desire, forcing him to give up the present body for another body. Such a plan maker is thus forced to accept another body in one of the 8.4 million species of life according to the fruits of the work he has performed. So don't be one of these statistics. Prabhupada is warning us. We have been part of the statistics many times. That's why we're here. So now, let us not be part of the statistics going forward. In the next life, persons who are too much attached to family comforts are generally awarded lower species of life on account of sinful acts performed during a long duration of sinful life, and thus all the energy of human life is spoiled. In order to be saved from the dangers of spoiling the human form of life and being attached to the unreal things, one must take warning of death at an age of 50, if not earlier. The principle is that one should take it for granted that the death warning is already there, even prior to the attainment of 50 years of age, and thus at any stage of life one should prepare himself for a better next life. So don't wait for the notice, you already got the notice. Therefore, start preparing. The system of Sanatana Dharma institution is made that the follower is trained for the better next life without any chance that the human life will be spoiled. The holy places all over the world are meant for the residential purposes of retired persons getting ready for the better next life. Intelligent persons must go there at the end of life, and for that matter, after 50 years of age, to live a life of spiritual regeneration for the sake of being freed from family attachment, which is considered to be the shackle of material life. So in this way, we should prepare so that our life becomes a full dedication in the service of Krishna, whether it's in the Holy Dham or whether it's in one of Prabhupada's temples, so that we can prepare. So this is the system of Varnashram system, to prepare, because we can't, you can't keep working till you die. That is foolish. One is recommended to quit home just to get rid of material attachment, because one who sticks to family life until death cannot get rid of material attachment. And as long as one is materially attached, one cannot understand spiritual freedom. So if one is dovetailed, it becomes easier. So here we see for the yogis, they have to do this because they have no understanding of dovetailing to Krishna. They're performing Astanga yoga, so they have to really become, it's a very graphic form of detachment. One should not, however, become self-complacent simply by leaving home or by creating another home at the holy place, either lawfully or unlawfully. Many persons leave home and go to such holy places, but due to bad association, again become family men by illicit connection with the opposite sex. The illusory energy of matter is so strong that one is apt to be under such illusion at every stage of life, even after quitting one's happy home. Therefore, it is essential that one practice self-control by celibacy without the least desire for sex indulgence. For a man desiring to improve the condition of his existence, sex indulgence considered suicidal or even worse. Therefore, to live apart from family life means to become self-controlled in regards to all sense desires, especially sex desire. If one really wants to perfect one's life, then especially at some point in time, this sex desire needs to be made zero. Otherwise, it will bind one again and pull back one in material existence. So Prabhupada is warning that one may have an opportunity to become detached and then go to the holy place or temple of Prabhupada and then fall prey to it again. So we have to be very careful. Prabhupada is making very clear that the illusory energy of matter is so strong that one is apt to be under such illusion at every stage of life. So we shouldn't think, oh, that I'm scot-free. No. We should always have our blinkers and our alarm systems on. We have to always keep a healthy distance and healthy measure, especially with the opposite gender. The method is that one should have a duly sanctified sitting place made of straw, deerskin, and carpet. And thus, sitting on it, one should chant the holy name of the Lord without offense, as prescribed above. So, see how for the Astanga yogi, there are different things he has to do: detach, go, leave family, etc., have a sitting place, sit, deerskin, etc. But the essential instruction is again the same for every process. If you leave home to a holy place, sit on deerskin, and meditate on nothingness, it's useless. You're getting nothing. You need to chant the holy name of the Lord. And how? Without offense. So bottom line, doesn't matter what process you follow, chant the holy name of Lord without offense. The whole process is to drag the mind from material engagement and fix it on the lotus feet of the Lord. This simple process alone will help one advance to the highest stage of spiritual success. This simple process alone will help one advance to the highest stage of spiritual success. Chanting the holy name without offense. Do we have the faith? Are we convinced that this is what will give us the highest stage of spiritual success? Or we thinking, no, I need to chant Hare Krishna and that will take me to another level, and then I take another process and that will take me to a higher level. No. Chanting Hare Krishna will take you to the highest. There is no higher. We should be convinced of that. It's simple, very sublime, very powerful. But the key is offenseless. 17. Abhyasena manasa suddham trivrid brahmaksharam param mano yache chita swasho brahmabijam avishmaram. After sitting in the above manner, make the mind remember the three transcendental letters, AUM, Om, and by regulating the breathing process, control the mind so as not to forget the transcendental seed. Omkar or Pranava is the seed of transcendental realization, and it is composed of the three transcendental letters AUM. Chanting it within the mind in conjunction with the breathing process is a transcendental mechanical way of getting into trance devised by the great experienced mystics. In this way, one is able to bring one's materially absorbed mind under control and change the habit of the mind. The mind is not to be killed. Mind or desires cannot be stopped. But to develop a desire to function for spiritual realization, one has to change the quality of engagement of the mind. The mind is the pivot of activity. The mind is the pivot of active sense organs. And as such, if the quality of thinking, feeling, and willing is changed, naturally the quality of action by the instrumental senses will also change. Omkar is the seed of all transcendental sound. And it is only the transcendental sound which can bring about the desired change of the mind and senses. Even a mentally deranged man can be cured even a mentally deranged man can be cured by treatment of the transcendental sound. So you don't need a mad hospital. Just chant Hare Krishna. It'll cure everything. So even a yogi who's practicing Astanga yoga cannot avoid chanting the holy names of Krishna. There is no escape. So if you thought there's another process which is better, or there's another process that does not involve the holy name, well, you are wrong. There is no such process. It all culminates in congregational or in chanting the holy names of the Lord. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Pranava Omkar has been accepted as the direct, literally representation of the Supreme Absolute Truth. One who is not able to chant directly the holy name of the Lord, as recommended above, can easily chant the Pranava Omkar. This Omkar is a note of address, such as, O my Lord. Just as Om Hari, Om means, O my Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As we have explained before, the Lord's holy name is identical with the Lord himself. So also is Omkar. But persons who are unable to realize the transcendental personal form or name of the Lord on account of the imperfect senses, in other words, the neophytes, are trained in the practice of self-realization by this mechanical process of regulating the breathing function and simultaneously repeating the Pranava Omkar within their mind. As we have several times expressed, since the transcendental name, form, attribute, pastimes, etc. of the personality of Godhead are impossible to understand with the present material senses, it is necessary that through the mind, the center of the sensual activity, such transcendental realization, is set into motion. The devotees directly fix their minds on the person of the Absolute Truth. But one who is unable to accommodate such personal feature of the Absolute is disciplined in impersonality to train the mind to make further progress. So for us, we chant the personal name of Krishna. Those who cannot, and there are those like that, no problem. Okay, you can't chant Hare Krishna, no problem, chant Om. In this way, you are progressing from that stage. See, you can't force people to also chant the holy name of Krishna. We have to understand where they are, and then from that level, take them to the next level, which is what Sukadeva Goswami is encouraging. 18. Niyachet Visha Yebyokshan Manasa Buddhi Sharati Manna Karmabir Akshiptam Subarte Daryadiyam. Gradually, as the mind becomes progressively spiritualized, withdraw it from sense activities, and by intelligence, the senses will be controlled. The mind to absorb material activities can be engaged in the mind too absorbed in material activities can be engaged in the service of the personal Godhead and become fixed in full transcendental consciousness. The first process of spiritualizing the mind by mechanical chanting of the pranava omkar and by controlling the breathing system is technically called the mystic or yogic process of pranayama, or fully controlling the breathing air. The ultimate stage of pranayama system is to be fixed in trance, technically called samadhi. But experience has proven that even samadhi stage also fails to control the materially absorbed mind. For example, the great mystic Vishwamitra Muni, even in the stage of samadhi, became a victim of senses and cohabited with Menaka. History has already recorded this. The mind, although ceasing to think of sensual activities at present, remembers past sensual activities from the subconscious state and thus disturbs one from 100% engagement in self-realization. Therefore, Sukadeva Goswami recommends the next step of assured policy, namely to fix one's mind in the service of the personality of God. So even the Astanga yogi cannot avoid service. So how wonderful. No one can avoid the holy name and no one can avoid service. And that's basically what, as bhakti yogis, we are engrossed in. Lord Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, also recommends this direct process in Bhagavad Gita 647. Thus, the mind being spiritually cleansed, one should at once engage himself in the transcendental loving service of the Lord by the different devotional activities of hearing, chanting, etc. If performed under proper guidance, this is the surest path of progress, even for the disturbed mind. So, the secret of success, the surest path of progress. Again, Prabhupada is encouraging us to chant the holy names, engage in devotional service. 19. Tatre kavaya vam tyayed avyu chinnena chetasam manno nirvishayam yuktva tata kinchana nasmaret padam tat paramo vishnu mano yatra prasidati. Thereafter, one should meditate upon the limbs of Vishnu, one after another, without being deviated from the conception of the complete body. Thus, the mind becomes free from all sense objects. There should be no other thing to be thought of, because the Supreme Personality of God, Vishnu, is the ultimate truth. The mind becomes completely reconciled in Him only. So now the final stage of dhyana and samadhi. Foolish persons, bewildered by the external energy of Vishnu, do not know that the ultimate goal of the progressive search for happiness is to get in touch directly with Lord Vishnu, the personality of Godhead. Vishnu Tattva is an unlimited expansion of different transcendental forms of personality of Godhead. And the supreme or the original form of Vishnu Tattva is Govinda, or Lord Krishna, the supreme cause of all causes. Therefore, thinking of Vishnu or meditating upon the transcendental form of Vishnu, specifically upon Lord Krishna, is the last word on the subject of meditation. We see people have so many variety of different types of meditation. My meditation is better. This meditation is better. That one is easier. This one is better. This one is glorious. Well, the last word in meditation is to focus on Krishna. So if you haven't got to that form of meditation, then you'll have to take birth to keep going there. This meditation may be begun from the lotus feet of the Lord. One should not, however, forget or be misled from the complete form of the Lord. Thus, one should practice thinking of the different parts of his transcendental body, one after another. Here in this verse, it is definitely assured that the Supreme Lord is not impersonal. He is a person, but his body is different from the bodies of the conditioned persons like us. Otherwise, meditation, beginning from the Pranava Omkar up to the limbs of the personal body of Vishnu, would not have been recommended by Sukadeva Goswami for the attainment of complete spiritual perfection. The Vishnu forms of worship in the great temples of India are not therefore arrangements of idol worship, as they are wrongly interpreted to be by a class of men with a poor fund of knowledge. Rather, they are different spiritual centers of meditation on the transcendental limbs of the body of Vishnu. So Prabhupada's temples are meditation centers. Anybody is interested in meditation, please come. This is our form of meditation. So we should be very careful to bring people who are into meditation and get them stuck on impersonal meditation and not take them forward as is discussed. Because then we're doing a disservice to them. See, Sukadeva Goswami is not watering down the process to the audience. He's making very clear. Yes, you are Stanga yogis. You want to perfect your life? Well, this is it. This is how you're going to perfect your life. It's very simple for the bhakti yogi. We got the deity form of the Lord, non-different from the Lord, and we worship the Lord. We see from lotus feet up to his beautiful face. Meditate on that. The yogis also do the similar thing on the form of Vishnu in the heart. The worshipable deity in the temple of Vishnu is identical with Lord Vishnu by the inconceivable potency of the Lord. Therefore, a neophyte's concentration or meditation upon the limbs of Vishnu in the temple, as contemplated in revealed scriptures, is an easy opportunity for meditation for persons who are unable to sit down tightly at one place and then concentrate upon Pranava Omkar or the limbs of the body of Vishnu as recommended here by Sukadeva Goswami, the great authority. So I can't perform Astanga yoga. I can't sit in one place, in the lotus position, sit in the forest. Therefore, for me, meditating on the deity form of the Lord is my saving grace. The common man can benefit more by the meditation on the form of Vishnu in the temple than on the Omkar, the spiritual combination AUM. As explained before, there is no difference between Omkar and the forms of Vishnu, but persons unacquainted with the science of the absolute truth try to create dissensions by differentiating between them. Here it is indicated that the Vishnu form is the ultimate goal of meditation, and as such, it is better to concentrate upon the forms of Vishnu and on the impersonal Omkar. The latter process is also more difficult than the former. So, meditating on Omkar, it's like the impersonal feature, is very difficult. Focusing on the deity form of the Lord, beautiful form of the Lord, chanting Hare Krishna is very simple. And thus concludes this section where Sukadeva Goswami is now presenting to his audience who are Astanga yogis the gradual process from Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, and then ultimately Samadhi. It's a mechanical process of withdrawing the senses, becoming detached from the world, going inwards, controlling one's breath, focusing the mind on Omkar, then focusing the mind on the form of Vishnu, starting with the lotus feet, going up, focusing on the face of Lord Vishnu, completely absorbed in the form of Samadhi. And in this way, the yogi perfects his life. For us, Prabhupada has given the exact process in the form of meditating on the deity form of the Lord, chanting Hare Krishna, hearing the glories of Krishna, eating Krishna Prasad, dovetailing and becoming fully absorbed in Krishna in all different aspects. Vantarat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai, Go Pramanande, Hari, Hari Bol. Are there any questions or comments? Please type in the chat, or you're most welcome to unmute and share. Mother Lash. Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the wonderful Krishna Kara. What is the difference between AUM and OM? There's no difference. It's just how you're writing it. So OM is broken down into AUM. So there's no difference. AUM and OM, or in Sanskrit OM, these are just different ways of presenting OM. You could have it in diacritics, you could have it in Devanagari. It's a matter of communication. So there's no difference. In fact, when you put AUM, so OM is OM with a dot. That dot is the U. So O is representing the O, the A, M is representing M, and the U is representing the dot on OM. And OM, A is Radhavani, M is Krishna, and U is you, the dot, you, living entity. So Om is Radha and Krishna and the living entity, the relationship with Radha and Krishna and the living entity. Right. Nalini Kanta Prabhu, Hare Krishna, wonderful class. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Nalini Kanta Prabhu. Bafana Prabhu says, in the preface, a point is made about the pinprick found in the world, a pinprick found in the whole entire body of life. Quite interesting point. Yes, even in Nectar Devotion, Prabhupada says there's a pinprick in society. And I'm sure you felt a pinprick. So for example, if you're walking, and let's say you're walking and somehow a needle gets into your shoe, right? So the needle is not completely through, it's not piercing through. There's just a small tip of that needle on the base of your sole. So now when you're walking, it's like you can walk, but there's a pinprick. So Prabhupada calls it a pinprick, right? Or like sometimes you sit on the chair, and let's say they're decorating the chair and they left a pin. Now you sit and there's a pinprick. So that's the pinprick. In society, we see there's a pinprick, right? We're advancing technology. So many things are wonderful, but yet something's wrong. And you can see something is wrong when you just look and you say, people are not happy. There's still wars. They're still fighting. What's wrong? There's something wrong. What's missing? That pinprick is what's missing. It's not obvious. You can't see it, but something's there. Something's on my chair. Like, where's this thing? I can't see it, but it's pricking me. That's a pinprick. And Prabhupada Nectar Devotion says that pinprick is missing Krishna. You could have everything. You could have heavenly planets. You could have nectar, nectar of immortality. Missing Krishna. Pinprick. You're missing everything. Shamananda Prabhu, Hare Krishna. Interesting hearing about the 48 minutes march. Katvanga attained perfection in March Parikshit as 7 days. Prabhupada's purport are on point and giving solid and beneficial direction to everyone, which one cannot get anywhere else. Most definitely. Wonderful how Sukadeva Goswami is explaining the yoga system step by step and step by step one to follow. Thanks for sharing with us, Prabhu. Yes. Prabhupada is the most expert coach of life. You could say he's the most expert coach for afterlife. People want life coaches. Maybe we should start advertising. Who wants a death coach? We're gonna certify everyone to be a death coach. That's a good life after coach. death coach. Everyone's, who's a life coach? Everyone's going for life coaching. No, we're not interested in life coaching. We're interested in death coaching. We're going to certify everyone in death coaching. Prabhupada is our our expert leader and trainer, is training us into becoming a certified death coach. That doesn't mean you're going to become the hearse driver. No. This is beyond hearse driving. This is about transcending death. So yes, Prabhupada is giving direction to perfect our life. Shama says, thank you very much, Prabhu, for an excellent class. Thank you very much for everyone's feedback. Next week, thanks for your explanation, Prabhu. Happy Diwali to you and everyone. Yes, Diwali is when baby got bound. The mischievous baby was bound on Deepavali day. And we can celebrate and honor and glorify. It's also when Lord Ram returns back to Ayodhya. And next week, we will not have class because I've got 2 other functions on next week Saturday. So next week will be postponed until the following. Govardhan Puja is on Tuesday. Prabhupada's appearance is on Friday. So please honor those festivals. And in this way, spend your days, your time from now till death on the glories of Krishna. Thank you very much. Kwantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai. Om Pramanande Hari Hari Bol.